This is DDS. We are your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker, but mostly black and blue. It's okay, though. We have a bye week. Parker, tell me something good.
I'm limping here, guys, but I'm here live. I'm ready.
Okay.
Thank you guys for joining us on the NFL Reaction Show. We have some hot topics today with the Titans, Jags, Cowboys, Rams, injuries around the league, others. But what better way to cool off some hot topics than with our beer of the day? Blake, what do we have?
We have from the Yazoo Brewing Company, Harvest Hellas. Let me turn it up. Yep. Okay, Harvest Hellas. Let's see what I can tell you about this. A late summer sun rises on a field newly shorn of its crops, signaling another hot, dusty day. Harvest Hellas begins with soft, malty breadiness, balanced lightly with spicy German Heil melon, I'm going to say.
That's my favorite.
And Strisel spalt hops, and ends with a clean finish from long lagering. Recipe by Yazoo's own Brandon Bingman.
Nice.
Well, Brandon,
Here's to you. Yeah. Oh.
Money shot. Money shot. Here we go.
How many times have you heard that sound in your life? But it never, ever gets old. I'm a huge fan of Yazoo. I've actually got a keg of those Paros at my house.
Nice. Pour everybody some here. We'll drink it throughout the show. At the end of the show, we will give our unfiltered, unbiased opinion.
Again, thanks to my team, I'll need much Yazoo.
Mucho Yazoo. Thank you, Yazoo.
All right.
Here we go.
We'll take a sip and then we'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So, topic number one of the day, we're going to Foxborough, Mass, where the New England Patriots pound a depleted Tennessee Titans team 36-13 by forcing 4 Titans turnovers to earn their 6th straight victory. We're going to the season ticket holder first.
We talked about this. We saw it coming. It's just 2 beat down, 2 hurt, needed bye week. They had the right game plan. Honestly, I can give it to Vrabel and the guys, because there was a point at the beginning of the second half. This was 13-19. Titans are driving. The name of this game, other than we can get into the injuries, I got some good stuff on that. But other than injuries, the name on this game is fumbles at the most unopportune time. There's one at the end of the first half by Heward who played really well. Touchdown for Patriots. There's a fumble at the beginning of the second half by Foreman on a 50-yard run. They're going to go in for a score probably. Fumble. Their next play is a Kendrick Bourne touchdown. After that, it was all she wrote. To me, this game came down to, honestly, to 2 plays.
I agree. I mean, you mentioned the Hilliard and Foreman fumbles there. I mean, whenever you're as depleted as the Titans are, you can't have missteps like that, particularly whenever you found something that's working. I mean, we ran the ball all up and down the field. And that was the game plan. We were executing it. But I mentioned on Twitter, it was as if the Patriots kept saying, come on, get back in the game. Come on. You want this game? Here. And the Titans just couldn't get out of their own way. Attribute it to injured players, fumbles, doesn't really matter. Just a bad game. There's not a team in the NFL that needs a bye week worse than the Titans right now.
It was a bad game even all the way around. I mean, everything was bad. Honestly, the defense, they kept them from scoring. There was bend but not break. They had 5 field goals.
Yeah. But
Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons combined for 0 hurries on the quarterback. Tannehill was off. Bullock hit the upright twice.
Yeah.
It was just, and dare I say, because people are going to mention Derrick Henry, dare I say, Derrick Henry being gone had 0 impact on this game.
Yeah.
Titans ran for 270 yards against a good New England Patriots defense. That's more than any team has run on the ground this year. Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And this is with guys that were sitting on their couches 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, the game plan was there. honestly, for the most part, we executed it. It's just the little things. I mean, there's reasons that these guys are backups, quite frankly. I mean, ball security is paramount in games like this, and whenever you are down so many players. The defense, you mentioned them being off. There were at least 2 interceptions that were missed that were like, holy shit. Like, I can't remember which linebacker it was. Hit him right in the hands. There was 50 yards of grass in front of him.
I feel like it was a guy I'd never heard of. I think
it was. I've never seen the guy. That's why I couldn't think of his name. And it's just, when you're down and things like that just aren't going to go your way. You're going to miss those. And when you don't take advantage of those things, you're not going to win a game like that.
Could either one of you talk to me more about Jackrabbit and Byard, because it looked kind of messy in the defensive backfield too?
It's funny you mentioned Byard, because I had this exact conversation during the game when he missed a pass that he jumped the route. It could have been an interception. He was a little
he was in front of it.
Yes, he was just this much too early.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of last year when the secondary was so hurt, depleted. It was a lot like this game. I literally looked over the people I was watching the game with and like, this is Byard last year. He's trying to be everywhere.
Yeah.
He's trying to do everything.
You could see it. You can see it.
He's the best player on the field, and he knows he has to do something. For God's sakes, he was the one that got the sack on the quarterback.
Yeah.
I just think he was trying to be everywhere. I
agree.
What about Jackrabbit, though? What a horrible angle at that. What was it? The first touchdown where, Bourne catches the pass. He's just on the sideline. If you just take the angle and
that
push
was a
him out of
weird
bounds.
play.
What does he do?
It was not just Jackrabbit. Like, everybody was just standing there. It was like they were just waiting for the guy to just step out of bounds. It's like, guys, hit him.
Jeez.
Wasn't that the one? I thought that was that the one Bourne took the house at the beginning of the second half, that right after the Foreman fumble?
Yeah.
Because that's the one like 3 people missed the tackle.
Yeah.
I just think he got hurt in that game too, by the way. And it's they didn't play well, for one, and two, after that fumble, I mean, I could feel the energy leave my man cave.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what they felt on the field.
I mean, I kept being surprised that we were still somewhat in the game for as long as we were.
The score does not dictate what this game was. In fact, I mentioned to you guys before we played, the only thing good about this game, it makes the Patriots look like world beaters. So when they play Buffalo this Monday night, maybe we'll get some value on whatever this line is.
So, I started this game. I wrote down the Tennessee Titans started the game with a penalty on the kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with injuries. A loss of yardage on a run maybe has something to do with injuries. A sack. And then 2 punt attempts because they had a penalty on the punt lineup. I mean, it's just started bad, and it just seemed like a bad omen.
Well, the guy that was on that punt return that was lined up on the other side of the hashtag that ended up being a 32 penalty is because of injuries, because that guy wasn't on the team last week.
Right.
Yeah, and the sack that Ryan Tannehill took on the first series was also probably because of injuries, because he's got receivers out there that don't know what routes they're running. They're running poor routes, and they just absolutely suck doing what they do. He held the ball too long, but anyways.
Let me lay this out here. I don't think people understand how injured this Titans team is. You hear this, hey, they're injured. This Titans team is the most injured team in the history of the NFL, and it's week 12. They've had 86 people on the roster, on the active roster. No other team has done that through 16 weeks. They've done that through 12 weeks. As of today, not as of game time, it was over 30. As of today, right now, there are 25 people for the Titans on the IR. The wide receivers that played in this game are Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. The number 2 guy was Cody Hollister. These guys are week 4 practice squad guys that don't make the team. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine barely made the team. He was the number 6th wide receiver, and he was the number 1 today. Cody Hollister, the guy that Tannehill targeted the most. You think about these guys, they're pros. They must have been awesome in college. Cody Hollister played a 4-year college career in Arkansas. His best year was his senior year with 140 yards receiving, and that's the number 1 guy that Tannehill's throwing to. This team is absolutely decimated. The only thing that makes me look happy going forward is that they're on short-term IR. You know, you've got, I think Tannehill thought he was throwing to Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, McNichols, and A.J. Brown, and he's throwing to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, which I didn't even hear anybody say his name correctly, Cody Hollister. Chester Rogers one time ran the wrong direction on a turn.
There was a lot of that. I watched a lot of film. There were so many guys running the same routes. They're both running the same damn route in the same place. It's like, guys.
They're like cutting, and they're all right here.
It's like, guys, what are you...
You can't put that on Tannehill.
Well, that's
man.
my thing
That's
is when that happens, it's just like, what is a quarterback to do?
Nothing.
He didn't have to do anything. The point is, they ran the crap out of the ball.
Well, you're exactly right. And then they got into a situation where they had to throw the ball a little more.
It was over. You couldn't.
And he just had no tools.
There's no separation. These people are. Nick Westbrook can't. It's just sad when that's your best receiver on the field.
There's a reason they're practice squad folks.
They're not. That's what's even. So in a COVID year, you get more practice squad people. Usually it's 8 or 10. This year it's 16. Mm-hmm. Cody Hollister wasn't even on a practice squad last week. Well, he was on Titans practice squad last week. Week before that, he wasn't. These guys are just they just don't have anyone. I'm just hoping that we can hold on to this 4 seed, which I think we can, and come playoff time, be healthy, and then make the run then.
It's what you got to hope for. I mean, it's like the Titans, the daggone 49ers of last year. With all these injuries.
Speaking of teams getting healthy and getting good, 49ers are looking scary.
Yeah, no shit.
So let's see. Let's talk some facts here. The last 2 games, the Tennessee Titans have 8 turnovers. They have forced their opponents to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And Ryan Tannehill, at least 1 interception in 6 of his last 7 games. He now has 13 interceptions on the season, still the worst in the NFL. He had a chance here, Blake, and it's not totally fair because of all the injuries, but he had a chance with Henry out to say, look, I can lead the team too. But does he really even have a team to lead?
Well, no, he doesn't, because he doesn't even have his number 1 and number 2 receivers to even throw to.
He doesn't have his number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, he was
5.
never going to have his number 2 because John Robinson signed someone that was injured the whole time.
Well, but the point is coming into this week's game, not counting this week. I don't have the stats on this week. Tannehill had 19 drops on the year. That's fifth most of any quarterback in the
and most of those are from his number 1.
I know. Yeah, that's
wobbly
terrible.
Balls, wobbly passes.
The issue is 1 through 5 receivers weren't out there. Even Marcus Johnson, who's looking good, he's on IR.
Yeah, he was kind of the ray of hope there, and then he goes on IR. He has no protection. He's been sacked 30+ times this year. He's way up there in that. He has no time. He has no running game until this last game, where it seems like we figured a little something out there. And no explosive players outside at all.
None. New England also, on top of that, is notoriously difficult to pass on. New England hasn't given up more than 125 passing yards in almost a month.
And I want to point out that I hated some of these plays that Downing was calling. The interception down there on 4th down on the goal line, I don't know if people were running the wrong routes or not, but why in the hell would you have a in-tight formation and roll? I mean, that is a high school.
That's just a scramble.
That's a high school 2-point conversion play. I just don't understand, if you truly want to put the defense at a disadvantage, why are you not spreading it out if you're going to pass it?
Yeah.
Or just run it. I mean, we've been running the ball just fine. Just run it.
That's what I didn't understand. I didn't understand why they didn't run it or spread it out and have Tanny run it. You don't want him hurt, for God's sakes, but
no.
Logan Woodside comes in and you're not even in the playoffs. But
he wouldn't have come in this game.
So one thing that we haven't said, which I'm hoping to goodness we have a Parker's Power Bomb coming up soon, but none of the 3 of us have called the Tennessee Titans frauds. You've never heard that here. I mean, we can question coaching decisions. We can question, is Tannehill top 5, middle of the pack, or bottom of the pack? But we have never, ever, ever said they're frauds. They've earned their record. They're not frauds.
They're not frauds. They've won 7 games against playoff teams from last year. They haven't lost to a team that was a playoff team from last year. You know what pisses me off is when I watch, and I'm not one of these like, the national broadcast isn't talking about us. I like that. But I keep hearing about how good the Colts are. Do y'all hear that? Like, every time I turn on the TV, it's like, look at look out for Carson Wentz. Yeah. Look out for the Colts. Blah, blah, blah.
Carson Wentz. Look how great Carson Wentz is playing. You you look at Carson Wentz, he's just above Tannehill in all these statistics categories. Why is it that he's just above Tannehill in those statistical categories when he has the top running back in the league, and Tannehill doesn't have that right now, and he's still hanging out right there?
My favorite thing was
what happens if Tannehill gets Derrick Henry back?
Well, that's one of my favorite things was hearing about Jonathan Taylor, about him being an MVP guy. Now a lot of people like.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't hear any that much when Derrick Henry had like 300 more yards than him. I don't know. I just also hate the Colts. And I just like, what do you mean they're that good? We beat them twice. We're up on them by 3 games. I don't think they're that good. They just lost. I don't know. That's just me being a little ranty that I just hate the Colts. So there's that. But Titans are not fraudulent. I'd tell you if I thought they were. I think they're just too injured. I think it's going to be a rough couple of weeks. I think this game coming up after the bye week is going to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're looking, hang on till Christmas, and then let's see what happens.
See if we can scratch a win or two out.
3 is the magic number. We got to win 3. Indy's got to win 3, lose 3. Some of those combination. That's what's going to happen. If that happens, it's all she wrote.
I'm glad your team's getting to have somewhat of a fun season, because the team that I'm about to talk about next, I mean, it was expected, though. This is not the year. But, man, it just keeps getting awful. And I just have to have patience as a Jags fan. The Jaguars give up 21 points to a team that was averaging less than 2 points a game in the previous 2 games, in a 21-14 loss to the Falcons. But, Blake and everybody at home, take a look at this picture. It started pregame, folks, when the mascot, doing his traditional jump off the light fixture, doesn't work, and he's hanging there lifeless, just like the Jaguars team, lifeless, without life. Kids and parents were looking on in shock and horror as the mascot dangles above the stadium.
This is
Man, golly. It's bad. This game was not as close as a 21-14 score. And I thought the Jags had a bad wide receiving core, but as we've learned with the Titans, I mean, the Jaguars have no excuses when it comes to comparing their wide receiving core to the Titans. And but it's a scheme thing, Blake. It's got to be.
I mean, I don't know how many more times we can say it.
It's the best video I've ever seen.
This is just great.
You're just hanging above. Jeez.
There you go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Jags. There you go. Hometown team down there. I don't know, man. I don't know how many more times can we talk about how bad the scheme is. Trevor Lawrence, poor guy. I think he's got some potential.
I will say he threw it beyond 20 yards at least 6 times.
Yeah.
Didn't complete any of them, but
I know that's the problem. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that's due to a lack of explosiveness on the outside with his receivers. Maybe his receivers are being told to run stupid routes.
Yeah, this all could have been at the very end trying to come back too.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Could have been in garbage time. It's I don't know. They ran the ball a little bit, but I mean, dude, as soon as you get that piece of shit off the sideline, you'll be fine.
Well, maybe there's hope. But before I get there, let me tell you about some more just laughable quotes here.
Can't wait.
I say, look, here's my statement, and I'm going to come back to it. But Coach Meyer needs to either step up and lead this team or step the hell out. And here is what happened, Blake. On the topic of James Robinson not playing in key situations and key drives this past week, Coach Meyer says, I didn't even know. You need to ask Bev or Bernie about that.
That's just like,
so he's like passing this off to his offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevel, and his running back coach, Bernie Parmalee. He's acting like he has no control over who's in the game at any certain time.
This isn't the first time he's done this.
No, it's all year.
This is just typical Urban Meyer crap. You know, nothing's ever his fault. You know, woe is me.
We joked at the beginning of this season that they hired 40 assistant coaches. And this is what happens. 40 of them, or maybe even more than 40 of them. He's got so many people out there coaching. He doesn't even know what the left hand, right hand's doing. He had no control. He needs to just step in and just either control it or step out. Go to Notre Dame. Wherever else you want to go.
Sadly, he's not, right? I mean,
The longer that he hangs around down there, the worse that Jacksonville's going to get.
they missed the opportunity to get rid of him. Should have got rid of him the
Yeah.
day after that video came out. I mean, the key to this game, I heard y'all mention it in the preview, Cordell Patterson.
Oh, gosh. Yes, he ran all over the place.
That guy's unbelievable. Freaking Matt Ryan ran for 6 yards, by the way. It just, he's bad. I don't know what else to say. It's not good right now. I'm interested with this beat up Titans line versus y'all are going to be. I have no clue what it is. I'm curious. Maybe what's going to be Titans by 4. I mean, I don't know.
But that's interesting, though, that you mentioned that, because I was afraid that Kyle Pitts would have a big day. He was bracketed. It was the run game. The defensive line and the linebackers couldn't stop the run on this day. They played the pass pretty well, it seemed like. Or did they? Because it was Matt Ryan, Blake. I mean,
You know what, though? You say that. I like Matt Ryan. I still think without Calvin Ridley, I know he's got Kyle Pitts, but with one guy, you can bracket him and stop him. Outside, Russell Gage sucks. He's awful. They hit a game 2 games ago. They didn't even target him, and they have no wide receivers. Without Calvin Ridley, it just shows you his value. This team is not good. I mean, when you bring in, when their best offensive weapon is a 30-something-year-old punt returner, yeah, it's just a team that's not there yet either.
Nope. I got nothing else, unless you want to say anything else about this
Nothing burger.
team that is doing exactly what we thought they'd do. Stink it up. Let's move to Dallas. They played a Thanksgiving Day game like always, and shockingly lost to the Raiders of Las Vegas, 36-33. Kind of behind a head-scratching performance by cornerback Anthony Brown. Had 4 third-down pass interferences. What the heck?
He hadn't had one all year.
He had 0 coming into that game.
It's just a bad game. I don't know what else to say about it. Because it's not like he has a history of doing that. And Carr looked like Carr. I mean, this was a fun game to watch. This is the best game of the weekend, or of the week, whatever you want to call it. Prescott looked good. Everybody looked good. But yeah, the penalties definitely what caused this.
Totally agree. I mean, Carr balled out. I mean, Dak had a pretty good game, but I mean, the penalties. What else? What else can you say, man?
I think there was a combined 30
Lord,
penalties.
look at that.
What was it, Blake? Combined.
So there were
penalties?
28 penalties between the two teams. Dallas had 166 yards of penalties, which you cannot win an NFL game with that many penalties. And but the Raiders tried their best by giving them 110 yards in penalties.
It was bad. A lot of laundry on that field.
Goodness gracious me.
Raiders had to win it, though. They were done.
They had to. Their back was in the wall, against the wall. So,
You know, it's just funny this year. Are there, maybe this is for a topic later, but are there any good teams in the NFL? You know, we look at college and we're like, all right, Georgia's going to win unless something stupid happens.
yeah.
I don't have that with NFL. I really don't. Which is great. That's the parity of the league. But I have no one. Maybe, and I know Arizona's got a great record. For some reason, I don't trust them.
You don't think the Titans are good anymore?
I don't think anybody, let me say that. I think they're good. I don't think there's any heads and shoulders teams. I think there's 10 teams that could win it. There are 12, I believe it's 12. So you're 11 or 12 teams in the AFC that are 500 or above.
That means there's a lot of really good and then some pretty bad.
It's just people can beat anyone. I mean, the Titans, who are the best record in the league, lost to the freaking Texans. And the Jets. I know both of them are super injured, but still you should beat them. And then the Raiders, who don't have a coach or have lost 3 in a row and look terrible, go out and beat the Cowboys.
No, I don't get it.
It's tough.
Other news from that game, cornerback Tristan Hill, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, suspended 2 games without pay for punching a Raiders player.
Was that the punt out of bounds?
No, this was after the game.
I don't remember that. Was that the deal on the field while their dude was eating the turkey leg?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think someone said from the association that because he went to the 50-yard line and stood there for over 50 seconds to have a confrontation and then punched him with an open hand, that's why he was being suspended under their new policy, that he was looking for the confrontation. Coach is out for Thursday night with a minor illness. Multiple players and other staff members are out with the minor illness. And the Cowboys have lost 3 of the last 4 games. Good news for them, Parker, is that they're in the NFC East.
That's true. Amari Cooper may not play either. He's already missed the last 10 days, and if he doesn't show up for practice today, he's going to miss Thursday as well. And then CeeDee Lamb was out. Hopefully he should play this week.
Are they going to rest Zeke or not? Because there was a report there like, we're going to arrest him, but then he's practicing yesterday.
A report came out today that Jerry Jones was like, we are going to run Zeke into the ground. So it doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Wow.
I don't know if I agree with that game plan.
Wouldn't you rather him just have a week off?
I mean, you've got Pollard. Pollard's good.
He's
just
fine.
let him take the load.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm trying to remember what film.
The reason
maybe
for the rush.
maybe address him and you just have him there for emergencies or something.
Pollard seems more than capable to have at least a game or 2. I mean, if you want to rest Zeke, but man, I don't understand the urgency of throwing him right back out there on a short week on a Thursday night football game again. I guess technically it's not a short week to them because they played last Thursday, so it'd be a full week. But
True that.
Some questionable things going on here. Losing to Raiders.
Here's one. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said the team expects Ezekiel Elliott to have a serious load against New Orleans.
I don't get it.
Does that mean he has to take a dump?
That's from a Cowboys writer, Lamar Jackson. That's from a guy that's been a Cowboys beat writer for 24 years.
I'd say he's got pretty good sources.
Ooh. Well, they're not the only team that has question marks. I'm looking at you, LA Rams, and now you've lost 3 games in a row. And the latest being a 36-28 loss to Green Bay. What's wrong? Is something broken?
I don't know the answer to that. I think it's kind of like what I asked you a minute ago. Is there any good teams?
28's still good enough.
But it wasn't that close.
But where's the defense? Where's Ramsey? Where are all the guys at?
That was going to be my issue with that I was going to tell you about. Stafford didn't look great. He's hurt. It came out right before the game because I said last week I loved this game because they were going to be healthy. And like 30 minutes before the game, there's an alert out that he has chronic back pain and may not even play. But you're right. I sat there and watched it. I didn't even see Aaron Donald in this game.
No.
Or the trade from Denver.
Von Miller.
Von Miller. I didn't even. Where were they? I didn't see anything. Yeah.
Saw him get a penalty. That's about it. That's about all I saw.
Why? I know Jalen Ramsey's really good, but he also does not shadow the best receivers.
No.
Why does he not? Why do they not put him on Devontae Adams because that's all they've got and say, go shut him down? I don't understand that.
I've only ever seen him, as a Jags fan, I've only ever seen him do it against one receiver, and that was Hopkins, when Hopkins used to play for the Texans. But every other game I ever watched Jalen Ramsey, it was never a shadow situation. Only Hopkins.
And can he not do it? Is that why? I mean, if he could shut down the best guy, you'd think that they would just be
he would say that it was a coaching decision. That's what he would tell the Jacksonville Jaguar reporters is, hey, I'll do whatever the coaches want me to do.
And I have heard that this defense is more scheme-based than it is player-based. Let's see. But, but at some point, you've got two of the best weapons on defense in the NFL in maybe 3 best. You just got to let them feed. I don't know what's up with the team. They've got loaded of talent. Maybe it's coaching. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, it's shocking to see 3 straight losses. I mean, the Titans sent them on a spiral straight down. A little national TV beatdown by the Titans, and now the Rams can't stand back up.
I mean, but are we downplaying what Green Bay's done here?
Aaron Rodgers is ridiculous.
Sure.
I mean, he's just like a world beater.
Maybe so, because we're only talking about the team that lost.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it wasn't like they were playing, Joe Schmo. I mean,
no, and they were in Green Bay.
yeah, I mean, it's not like they had this was not a pushover game. This was not a pool noodle situation. This was a slugfest, and when you turn the ball over 3 times against Aaron Rodgers, you're probably going to lose.
And they've lost to, I'll give them this. Rams, obviously they beat the Texans, but then they lost to the Titans, and that was the Titans' first game without Derrick Henry. They didn't know really what was coming that game, so I could see that. Then they lost to the 49ers, who are red hot right now.
They were rolling right now.
And then they lost to Green Bay in Green Bay. Maybe there's nothing wrong with them. Maybe they just run into some tough opponents.
They're gonna get it. They're gonna get right.
They're gonna get right.
They're gonna get right. They're gonna get right.
Yeah,
y'all just wait for that prediction show. They're gonna get right this coming up weekend.
We'll
Don't
talk
worry.
more about their opponent.
God, I want the prediction show right now so bad.
Ooh, they get a home date with the team that is on my hat as we speak. Urban Meyer taking the troops out west, folks.
Yep.
And I've already said
taking all of his concubine too.
They never win out west. Never.
Do they play the Raiders?
They don't win very much anywhere.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about in their entire.
What was the stat I looked up? They haven't won outside the state of Florida or London since like mid 2019.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to give away my pick. I'm just saying.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
Do we want to touch around, talk about any injuries? The only one that, I wrote down a bunch of names, but the one that concerns me the most, of course, is Dalvin Cook. Good Lord. He's got the backup.
In every fantasy league I'm in, I've got.
Christian McCaffrey's done. Debo Samuel with the suddenly surging 49ers is out.
Debo.
Trey Sermon, 49ers out, but I don't know that name matters anymore. Jack Conklin for the Browns.
Done.
2 more from the Washington football team last night.
Your boy Dan, out for the year. IR.
Dan Arnold, I have his name. Jalen Hurts, his ankle hurts. Minshew mania time. I don't know.
Minshew's going to come in and rattle off like 5 wins in a row. Give the middle finger to Jacksonville.
Injuries are bad this year. I don't know why. Maybe it feels like this every year, but Freiermuth for Pittsburgh Steelers out. Christian McCaffrey, you said. It's all over the place. I put a thing on Twitter. If you look at the fantasy football, you do the top 10 draft picks. Like none of them are either miss significant time, or they miss the whole season, or they suck. There's like no good first rounders in fantasy. I have no idea what the reason for that is. I will say though, this is interesting. If you look at Washington, there's a new book coming out by RG3 that's talking about. It's called Surviving Washington. And it supposedly talks about like behind the scenes and how bad it was. And there's an NFL doctor that I follow a lot that does a really, really good job. He's an ex-NFL doctor now, and he came out and said that it was always really weird how Washington handled injuries. And Washington's a, crap place to be anyway. They got fined $10 million, all this stuff where the emails came out of. Anyway, that doctor came out and said that every other team in the league has their own personal doctors that are there that they bring to the game. And Washington would fly somebody in on game day. I don't know. It's just interesting. That has nothing to do probably with the injuries that are going on. That just kind of ties into it. Made me think about it.
Weird year.
Well,
as usual. The only thing you can always expect is the unexpected. That's for sure.
Though injuries are bad, but how about the beer? What do we think?
Yeah, let's talk about this. Yazoo Harvest Hellas. Guys, I enjoyed this one. This one's easy to drink.
Real easy.
Like almost like dangerous easy to drink. I feel like I could rattle off about 5 or 6 of those, no problem. I promise I don't have a problem. I promise.
5 or 6.
But no, very good. I thought the description was actually pretty good.
It is
breadiness, lightly with spicy German melon. I mean, I think that's actually a pretty good description. I don't know what the melon would taste like, but I felt like I got the little bit of breadiness right at the front. Easy to drink, not super duper hoppy.
It wasn't. That's one thing that you get with these beers. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'd have one or two. But no, I'm with you. I could polish off a good amount of these.
Yeah. Yeah, man. This was an impressive beer for sure.
Yeah, it didn't have the bad beer aftertaste.
No bitter beer.
No bitter beer.
Taste at all. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm sure that I will probably be enjoying it over and over and over again this fall and winter with the boys here. You never know.
Good job, Yazoo.
Yazoo, good job, man. Harvest Hellas, go check it out. We got it at Kroger. You can probably get it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that was a show. See, we didn't fight. We didn't, people think we hate each other. I don't know why. What's wrong with him? Just this guy down here. I don't know. What's wrong with him? Parting thoughts, guys.
Guys, I am really excited. Get some good stuff coming for the prediction show this week.
Oh, boy.
So my parting thought is the Jacksonville Jaguars have yet another long trip. Will they leave their coach on the West Coast?
He might just leave himself.
He's going to be in California. Will he just go ahead and stay there?
He'll bring his entire concubine with him. 2-tone blue all the way. You guys be well.